Welcome to this presentation on LeadDifferent, where I want to share with you the offerings that I have that teach my clients how to apply the principles from good to great to their organizations to achieve your goals. As a reminder, good to great was the research done by Jim Collins and his team at Stanford, where they sought to answer the question, can a good company become great? And if so, how? They began by studying pairs of companies in the same industry that for 15 years performed at market averages, followed by a subsequent 15-year period where the comparison companies remained at market performance and the good to great companies went on a 15-year stretch where they beat the market by an average of 7-fold. Everybody recognizes the transition curve and the resistance to change that comes with almost every effort that we have to improve our organizations. The statistics haven't changed much since the late 80s. 30% of change initiatives fail to launch. They fail to have a significant punch. 50% fall significantly short of their targets, and 90% fail to survive 5 years. Despite those statistics, the things on this list are the things that companies continue to bet on today. These are the things that the Collins and his researchers found in the comparison companies, the ones that didn't improve. The search for the right charismatic leader, the right executive compensation, pay people the right way will get great results. Mission, vision, or great strategy, mergers and acquisitions, placing big bets on technology and technology-driven change. And my favorite that almost everybody does with disappointing results is the focus on major initiatives with grand kickoffs and the need to motivate or create alignment. These are the things that none of the good to great companies did, and that's why LeadDifferent is so important if you really want to improve and reach your goals. LeadDifferent is a practical way to get good to great to come to life, to get real results. It's a framework that was built through real application and turning around underperforming organizations while running the business. This came from my experience, and the teams that I led helped create the basis and the tools for LeadDifferent. And this leads to transformations where all stakeholders get a win, employees, customers, and investors simultaneously. Many initiatives, only one or two of the stakeholders win, and that's just not good enough. This idea of the flywheel is so important. In LeadDifferent, we modify it just a little bit from what Jim Collins found, where we attack the buildup areas simultaneously. But you'll learn more about how that works and why this buildup period and the things you do in it are so vital to building a real culture that lives continuous improvement. Creates impact in several ways, and you could do this in an organization-wide transformation, or maybe you have a critical function that is holding back the whole organization, or you just want to start it in a pilot. Or if you want to just apply first who, one of the buildup areas to teach leaders how to build exceptional teams. These are all ways that LeadDifferent can help you and get real results in a practical. Let's go through an outline now of the kind of engagements that we do with LeadDifferent, and it begins with workshops where you could attend a public session, or more ideally host an in-house session that's tailored for your specific situation. We almost always include a follow-up session where after you've had a chance to go back on the job and wrestle with the concepts, we want to help you put them to real use, and with a follow-up session or two, that can be really, really beneficial. Assessments, a little deeper dive here. You still go through some workshop material to learn the LeadDifferent fundamentals. We interview the executives of the company as well as your staff and key influencers. It allows us to gain tremendous insights on your as-is state, what's possible in a to-be world, where you should focus, and the actions that you should take. Assessments are a great way for folks to really get a high level of value for their dollar. Projects, and this is where we take the next level of engagement. It can be to revamp a critical business process. We often just come in and teach some of the fundamentals of transformation and use something as simple as a swim lane to help you tackle a key business process where we can break down silos by having cross-functional groups work on this. There's a big benefit in something that simple. Or we could take on and apply these build-up activities to help you transform a functional group. Maybe it's a pilot, or maybe you just have one group, your product development group maybe perhaps, or your operations, that's holding the whole company back. You could get a lot of benefit by just using LeadDifferent in one area. Or a full LeadDifferent implementation. This generally begins with education and people walk through an assessment. You usually don't start here, but usually as you progress through, you'll see if it fits for you. One of our workshops is about applying First Who to build high-performance organizations. And in this, you'll learn the good to great fundamentals and why who questions come first. The right people on the bus and wrong ones off, and the right people in the right seats are fundamental here. Shifting our focus to put talent and values on the front burner. Define a role, define a talent. You'll learn how to use our 9-box approach, which is the backbone of First Who. Live sessions and taking more data. This is where you get input to allow you to take that initial assessment that each manager does and to move the dots and to get a clear, calibrated view of performance and potential today. And then how to address a 9-box once you've got a first pass at it. How do you reshape the organization? What strategy do you use to address the 9-box so that you can create this shift from left to right and from bottom to top so the organization is a sign that it's stronger and fits at a higher level? Dealing with miscast is a vital part of any organization getting healthy and something that most organizations today do very poorly. Now that you put talent and values on the front burner, you've got to shift your hiring practices. We show you how to do that. And then ongoing management routines for the 9-box. It's essential so that you can build on this set of practices that you learn in the workshop. A second workshop is titled Stealing a Page from Jim Collins, How to Apply the Lessons from Good to Great. And this is using LeadDifferent to transform your organization where, again, you learn the fundamentals and you contrast the transformation approach from good to great with traditional approaches. You learn about level 5 leadership and how to apply First Who and why it's so important. Facing brutal facts and building trust, the other component of the build-up period, and the LeadDifferent flywheel and a practical approach to assessing where you're at. Self-assessment exercises for each build-up area, and then assessing your own flywheel at the starting point. And finally, discussion and practical advice based on these assessments on how do you address your as-is and get to a much better and higher level of performance. Assessments, this is where you can learn the principles, gain critical insights, and develop focus. These are customized for each client based on your own objectives. Always include education and fundamentals. We develop an as-is view. This is a systems view that puts the executive perspective, key staff and influencers, their perspectives, and run them against each other into a simple cause and effect flywheel view. So you can really see how things work. People find this diagram to be incredibly powerful. Some of the things that your best people would see as brutal facts or undiscussables get surfaced, and the level of trust and dialogue goes way up. This allows us to validate and define focal points. If you're in a chaotic situation, the clarity you can gain here is monumental. And we create focal points and a plan of attack to address it. And then we're able to develop a potential to be. And in this picture here, you can see there are new boxes that come in that are really the things that we're going to do, the areas that we're going to put teamwork and effort on to allow us to go from the as-is to the to be. So you have a really complete picture here. And these assessments are incredibly valuable for the time you spend on them. Now to look to a full implementation of LeadDifferent, and that's where you would move from a current state through build-up and breakthrough. And this really begins with education and assessments. Most people would start there, and then we build a phase based on that starting point, and then it becomes obvious to most clients at this point that you're seeing traction in your culture, in your business results, that this is an ongoing, this build-up phase really leads you to wanting to stay with it to get to breakthrough. So we focus on driving results and transferring the capability to turn that flywheel. And that's through these 3 areas of the First Who and the 9-box, building trust and facing brutal facts, a lot of different tactics and tools there. Level 5 leadership coaching for key executives is part of this. We even coach some key influencers along the way that are vital to building your own flywheel and sustaining it. And then we introduce breakthrough concepts just in time. And as a company gets through buildup and they have the confidence that their culture and their results are changing fundamentally, things like the hedgehog, which is your powerful combination of the things that you're passionate about, the things that you can be the best in the world at and drive your economic engine. That creates a culture of discipline and simplicity. Those things emerge as we get through buildup, and we introduce concepts like SMAC, simple, methodical, and consistent practices that you basically want to anchor in. Growth concepts. In most companies, once you have this flywheel that will turn itself and you don't need change management anymore, how do you take that growth and not lose your form? The 20-mile march, and then how do you manage risk during breakthrough? These are concepts that come out of Great by Choice and other works that we introduce that allow you to get on that sustained 15-year plus run to get results that you never dreamed possible. So who needs to lead different? If your organization is in full-blown chaos or crisis, maybe survival's hanging in the balance, or maybe it's just that you're limited by a single function or a business unit that holds the whole organization back. Or if you're tired of continuing to invest in initiatives that don't give you the kind of returns that you expect. Maybe you're failing to reach your potential financially, operationally, or culturally. You need to feel like you can achieve these simultaneously, and LeadDifferent can get you there. Are you a leader that just feels like the business is running you and not the other way around? Or maybe you're aspirational. You've read Good to Great and you really were inspired by the concepts but never saw a way to implement them. You know that there's so much more you can achieve with the talent that you have, and you want to build an enduring great organization. You want to get real results. LeadDifferent's for you. If it's your time, here's my contact information. I hope you'll reach out and look forward to working with you soon.